This time, the mayor will call to order the regular city council meeting for 7 p.m. Tuesday, December the 14th, 2021. City Council Chambers, 201 East Nash Street, Terrell, Texas. We have in the chambers with us this evening District 3, Mayor Ronnie Velasquez, Deputy Mayor Pro Tem. District 4, Stephanie Holmes Thomas. District 5, Tim Royce, Mayor Pro Tem. And we have remote District 2, Grady Simpson. We have a quorum. This time, Grady, would you lead us in invocation, please?
Yes, Mayor. Oh, Father God, we come once again with thanks and praise for all your great works you've done in our lives and in the city of Terrell this year. Continue to guide us, lead us, that we may develop and grow and expand into a great city where others will want to come, live, and experience happiness with their families. All in Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the
Pledge
flag
allegiance to the
of the
flag of the United States
and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Our next item on the agenda is Mayor and Council Community Recognition and Events. I would like to thank the fire department for their parade through and around the city in all districts. We've had District 5 and District 2. Next, tomorrow, we will have District 3. And then on Thursday, they'll be going through District 4. And if you would like to follow the procession, you do so on Glimpse at to follow live. You can post link to track on the city Facebook page as well, and that will begin again tomorrow at 6 p.m. for District 3, and then on Thursday at 6 p.m. for District 4. Is there anyone else that would like to? Yes, okay, go ahead, Mike.
So, Mayor and Council, I want to thank all the folks who've been involved with the Citizens Police Academy. They're having their graduation on Thursday night.
We've changed that.
Oh,
it's going to be the
gracious.
first Thursday in January. I'm sorry.
So the first Thursday in January is a great day, and we'll have a thank you for our folks who are graduating from Terrell Citizens Academy at that time. But anyway, thanks to those folks who participated in that. The other thank you is for Charles Fender. I hope he doesn't tell me he's changed this meeting date. But here we are going through the Christmas holiday season, and your Planning and Zoning Commission is meeting on Monday night at 6 p.m. and tackling a full slate of activities. And I probably just said the date wrong. Right, Monday night. There you go, 5:30. You can come on up here. If your Christmas season is not busy enough, you can join Charles Fender for Planning and Zoning meeting at 5:30 on Monday. So anyway, thanks to Charles and his staff for coordinating that, and thanks to your Planning and Zoning Commission.
Agree. Anyone else?
Mayor, I'd also like to say a big thank you to Dr. Polk from Terrell Independent School District. He was with Terrell ISD and many of our children and families in the last couple of years, and he's now taken on a superintendent role at Colorado Independent School District in Texas, in the state of Texas. And I'd also like to say a big thank you to the Chamber of Commerce for their efforts in the annual Christmas parade. We had, our staff members and council that participated, whether it was from making sure things ran smoothly or participated in the parade procession. And they also had an effort of the Holly Jolly downtown effort. And certainly thank you to Allison as well for her work in that. So thank you.
All right, thank you. Our next item on the agenda, was there anyone else? Our next item on the agenda is adoption of the minutes. Discuss and consider minutes from the regular city council meeting on December the 7th of 2021. Is there a motion?
Mayor, I make a motion that we approve the minutes from December the 7th as presented.
We have a motion from Tim Royce, Mayor Pro Tem District 5. Is there a second?
I second.
I have a second from Grady Simpson, District 2. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, let it be known by stating aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion will carry. Our next item on the agenda is hear remarks from visitors. Do we have any? We do not have any. So we'll move forward with our public hearing. Our next item on the agenda is 7.1, to conduct a public hearing to receive comments regarding the petition for the creation of the City of Terrell Crossroads Northwest Public Improvement District Number 5. Mr. Sims.
So, Mayor and Council, you'll find in your packet there have been two landowners who came forward, and they're listed here separately. One is, four landowners total. I won't read them all, but one is the two corporations that own portions of the apartment complex out at Crossroads, and the other are the two different corporations that own portions of the vacant land out at Crossroads. They've come forward jointly and asked for the creation of a public improvement district. We briefed on this earlier. They will be taking care of the zone basically from the back of all of the retail over to the car dealership that's being developed out there right now. So there's a big zone there. All of it drains, into what is referred to as the second Crossroads leg. And we are very happy that they are signing up for a public improvement district. This allows us to put an assessment on the land that is in an amount equal to the maintenance cost of the wetlands that are out there and in the pond that is out there. The projected total annual cost is going to be around $70,000. We'll make a 10% contribution of $7,000 to that from our stormwater fund every year. But because this is over and beyond standard drainage requirements with the wetland out there and the pond out there to take care of, we are putting the assessment on there. It's at $375 per $100 valuation. That's the projection. There's a little chart in there about the projected charges. But of course, you'll set that and assess that every year. Sometimes that maintenance cost might be a little bit higher, sometimes a little bit lower. And every year you'll see a budget that translates this number into actual dollar amounts for their property tax bills. So it's good to have your property owners willingly take up an expense, and it gives us an opportunity to have this program managed through Glenn Caldwell's department so they can make it crisp and clean all the time out at Crossroads Northwest Zone. So with that, that's an introduction to the public hearing, and I'll hand it back to you, Mayor.
All right, thank you. So this is a public hearing. We'll open the public hearing. Is there anyone to speak on behalf of this item? Hearing none, we'll close the public hearing, and we will take up item 7.1. This
Mayor,
is resolution 1083. Is that correct?
yes, Mayor. Mayor Gales handed out for us, and Dawn have handed out for us Resolution 1083. Essentially, it's stating that you're accepting the petition, authorizing the creation of the district, and then it gives the city secretary the job of taking care of the public notice associated with this. So it's fairly straightforward. As this is our 5th public improvement district, we're really just following the process we've used in previous years.
Okay. Any questions? Hearing none, is there a motion on 7.1, resolution 1083?
Mayor, I'm going to make a resolution on 7.2. I move to approve the resolution 1083 authorizing the establishment of the Crossroads Northwest City of Terrell Public Improvement District Number 5.
We have a motion from Tim Royce, Mayor Pro Tem District 5. Is there a second?
I second.
Have a second from Grady Simpson, District 2. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, let it be known by stating aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion will carry. Our next item on the agenda is item number 8, discuss and consider resolution number 1078, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Terrell, Texas, setting a date, time, and location for public hearings to consider the redistricting plan for the City of Terrell, Texas, directing the city secretary to publish notice of such public hearings in a newspaper or of general circulation and on the city internet website, and providing an effective date. This is Mr. Sims.
So, Mayor and Council, we had our briefing last meeting from Allison Bass and McGee. Mr. McGee with that law firm was here, and he went through the basics related to redistricting. As you know, the analysis on this is that we are not required to redistrict. The variation between our districts, it falls well within the rule book on how closely balanced our districts are. However, out of just general good housekeeping, we did feel like it was important to invite the public in for an opportunity to see that same information and to listen to any other considerations y'all might have about potentials to redistrict or not, or to make minor adjustments to the boundaries. So the first one's January 4th at 6 p.m. At that one, there will be comments on the criteria for redistricting. We'll also have some public information there about what the school district adopted. We'll show you a map of our current boundaries, show you how those two things overlay with each other. And then the second public hearing is January 11th, and that's a consideration of the proposed order for redistricting of political boundaries. Of course, there's lots of work to be done between now and then, but we do need your permission to put these into the newspaper and provide an opportunity for public hearing on these two topics.
All right, so council, this is just an opportunity for us to engage the public, if they so choose to, on our redistricting, the information that we received, and any action that we may be thinking about as we move forward with redistricting. Is there any comments? Is there a motion on item 8.1?
I do
Yes.
have a comment. This is more so for Mike. When can we anticipate to receive the maps from the school district?
So I understand the school district approved theirs at a board meeting yesterday, and we've already made contact with them to receive the digital version of that. I want the engineering department to be able to get the shape file from the independent school district, lay it over ours, so you can kind of see how the two maps match up, and then that'll be the start of that process. And I'm going to say that's going to come to you fairly close to January the 4th. I don't want you to have the anticipation you're going to get that as a Christmas present. That's more of a New Year's present.
No Christmas homework?
No Christmas homework on that topic.
Anything else? Anyone else? Is there a motion on resolution number 1078?
Mayor, I make a motion to approve resolution number 1078. Sorry, Councilman Ross.
We have a motion from Grady Simpson, District 2. Is there a second?
Second.
I have a second from Tim Royce, Mayor Pro Tem, District 5. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, let it be known by stating aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion will carry. Item number 8.3, or 8.2 is discuss and consider a final plat for Oak Valley Phase 3, consisting of 68 lots, being 72.258 acres out of the Phillip Walker Survey, abstract number 569, City of Oak Ridge, City of Terrell ETJ, Kaufman County, Texas. This is going to be Mr. Fenner.
Yes, sir, Mayor, Council, before you do have the final plat, the last phase of the Oak Valley development that's in Oak Ridge, as you may recall, and we had worked out a developer's agreement, did some exchange of our ETJ with the city of Oak Ridge, and this property is actually now in the city of Oak Ridge, but we through that process, we had the platting authority that we had to take on because it was in our ETJ. So 72 acres, the final plat, 68 lots here. September 24, 2019, Phase 1 was done and approved. 2020, July 23rd, 2020, Phase 2 was done. They did have some requirements for the parks and the park dedication through that area. The real thing that we wanted to address in this last phase that we've seen here is we don't have the inspection authority I continue to make a lot of noise. We don't have inspection authority in the ETJ, and so we ran into some issues with some drainage and culverting. And so what I brought forth to the Planning and Zoning Commission was that we approve the Phase 3 because it does meet the technical specs and the platting requirements. it needs to be approved. However, we would like to do a contingency that they get a third-party inspection agreement for the public improvements and submit a report to us. And so that was our recommendation, and the Planning and Zoning Commission accepted that recommendation to the city council by a vote of 7-0.
Okay. Unanimous vote, 7-0. Does anybody have any comments? Again, our planning and zoning did approve it. Hearing none, is there a motion on item 8.2?
Mayor, I make a motion that we approve the final plat for Oak Valley Phase 3 consisting of 86 lots.
I have a motion from Tim Royce, Mayor Pro Tem District 5. Is there a second?
Second.
I have a second from Mayor Ronnie Velazquez, Deputy Mayor Pro Tem District 3. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, let it be known by stating aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries. Our next item on the agenda is 8.3, discuss and consider award of Market Center Lift Station and Force Main Project. This is Mr. McKeska.
Good evening. This, this project was discussed 2 weeks ago. Kind of covered the bid and so forth. So real quick, I'll go over it. On page 35, there's a map that does show the general alignment of the force main in the dashed yellow. It's going to be a new force main that's built on this project. The little yellow square in the lower left shows the location of the existing lift station, and that's also the site for an upgrade. This project will take the lift station from about 0.3 MGD capacity to 1. So it's going to basically triple the capacity of the lift station for the growth that's going on out there. On page 36 and 7, you can see we have a letter of recommendation from Friesen Nichols. We did receive 2 bids on this project, FM Utilities and a company called Udelhoven. And the bids range from about 2.38 to 2.9 almost $1 million. Bid tab is on 38, 39, and they also provided bonding and insurance information. And then following that, on beginning page 42, there is an agreement that has FM Utilities shown at the top of page 42 and a contract price of $2,383,543.60. That was their bid on page 43. So basically, they've vetted this contractor, Friesen Nichols, and we've discussed this with them. Steve and I had met one of their representatives at a different, related to a different contract as well. So anyway, we feel pretty comfortable awarding it to FM, making a recommendation to award it to FM Utilities. And so that is our recommendation to authorize the city manager to enter into a contract with FM Utilities.
Mr. Fenner, is that a not-to-exceed number of the two?
Yes, in an amount not to exceed the 2.38 million, yes.
At 543.60. Yes.
That's correct.
Okay, we've reviewed this contract before. Is there any comments?
Would this, the force main project, is this going to help take care of not only the existing need, but future needs? I ask because this is an addition to what we already have, so should we anticipate future additions related to all the expansion that we expect to see?
Yes. We've reviewed that, and what we know is that with the phase 2 of the apartment complex, that our existing lift station capacity is going to be exceeded once phase 2 kicks in. And with the other growth going on, we continue to take a look at that and see, to project, we believe 1 million gallons a day will take care of everything that's being built out there. And as other developments potentially come in and want to serve to that, we're going to continue to review that and make sure
Let me
we can handle that.
see if I can get Steve and Mike to help me out on clarifying the word everything there. I think that with this 1 million gallon capacity, what we're really talking about is all of the existing stuff that you see today, plus one additional new apartment complex, plus an additional hotel, plus filling up the retail between the end of Academy and then over to the car dealerships and including the car dealerships. And then we can probably open up a little bit of business park type activity over just to the west of there. So I think at that point, I would see probably Mr. McKeska and Mr. Rogers come back and say, we need to address this topic again. Is that a good summary, Mike?
Yeah, that's a fair statement. And remember that this location is also right in the middle of the TxDOT right away for their plan for the service road. So we know that this location at some point in the future is going to be impacted by their work. And we're looking at capacity needs south of 20 as well as part of future relocation. But for where it's at right now and what we know is planned in this area, it should be sufficient.
Thank you.
That's where we're at
That makes
right now.
sense. Well, and you both are great at what you do, and Freeze and Nichols, you know, is a trusted partner as well. And is there anything that we could do now to ease the cost and, you know, the move of or addition of a future location to meet the future needs of what we expect to see out there in the future?
Is there anything we could do right now?
Well, I think as the,
Not that anything
This
that
is-
we could do, but I just, you know, I'm thinking about, you know, if we could save money by doing, you know, a large project now and kind of knowing what's coming in the future with not knowing exactly where the service road is going to go in the future and how that's going to impact this area.
Let me say a couple of things. So we don't normally recommend what we consider to be short to midterm improvements. We're usually looking at long-term improvements. However, in this situation, this is going to fit more in the short to midterm improvement. It's necessary because of current growth and we can't wait any longer. So in the future, as we get more paying customers and we have an opportunity with more growth in the area, this lift station is going to be relocated south of Interstate 20, and that's going to be at a significantly higher cost than what you're seeing here right now, several times more than what that is. So we're trying to delay that decision and let some of the development crystallize. Part of what you get into when they widen an interstate is not like they do TxDOT roads, state highways, and others. But in the case of interstate highways, when they make widenings and improvements to that, they are obligated to reimburse you for your expenses on relocating your utilities. So TxDOT will be reimbursing us some amount of money that we negotiate with them over this as well. So we see that this is a needed improvement now. We don't know how long it's going to be there. It's going to serve everything that's built out at Crossroads, okay? But we're also going to be working with TxDOT on the other end to negotiate a settlement with them at some point in the future, and we'll take that and relocate this south of Interstate 20 with more of our own dollars and upsize it and serve more people and et cetera and so on. Does that make sense?
That's a great summary. I was trying to
Okay.
understand why we were doing kind of a shorter term, or as you mentioned, a small to mid project when we know there's a lot of expansion coming.
We don't typically do that, but in this situation, we don't have any choice.
all right, is there a motion on 8.3?
Mayor, make a motion that we award the Market Center Lift and Force Main project. And we're going to award that to FM Utilities, and we're going to authorize the city manager to enter into that agreement with FM Facilities in an amount not to exceed $2,383,543.60.
Thank you. We have a motion from Tim Royce, Mayor Pro Tem District 5. Is there a second?
Second?
Have a second from Mayor Ronnie Velasquez, Deputy Mayor Pro Tem District 3. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, let it be known by stating aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion will carry. Item number 8.4, discuss and consider award of change order number 1 for Highway 80-205 utility relocations. McKeska, is this you?
Yes, sir.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, Mayor and Council, this is a very unusual request. I'm going to start out by saying that, and was not something that we have ever seen, I would say. So we opened bids and awarded the contract for Highway 8205. Council awarded it back in, I believe it was August 31st for Highway 8205. Utility relocations to Gomez Brothers Construction. And the market right now is just really kind of unpredictable, I'll say. Contractors, supply houses, everyone is having a very difficult time pinning down delivery schedules, cost. We're seeing cost increases all the time. We've seen it for parts that we purchase for our own work. We have heard it from numerous contractors how difficult it is. And so we had a pre-construction meeting, and at the pre-construction meeting, their supplier that they contracted with to provide materials actually came to the meeting, which is unusual. And right up front, they said, we wanted to know the schedule for them to start work when their supplies coming in. And the supplier said, well, I can't give you a schedule on delivery until I can actually issue a PO to the people I buy it from. And so there's been this domino effect. And so in a nutshell, what has happened following that discussion, the contractor's working with the supplier who's working with the vendor who's working with the supplier and the manufacturer of pipe and valves and so forth, trying to nail down some prices because of increases. And the contractor reached out to KSA, who's reviewing them and the bids and all the recommendations they've gone through, and provided a letter. It's a short letter on page 54 from Roberto Gomez that says, we've had a really difficult time, pinning this stuff down, and especially with price increases every 2 to 4 weeks. And so the net result of that is they went to KSA, and Mike Burns worked with them and reviewed this and has made a recommendation that because of the market and the material price increases, there's a request for an additional $115,628.22, solely related to material price increases over the last few months. And they couldn't order it and provide a schedule for services until they could get the PO in. And so basically we've gone back and forth with discussing this with KSA, and we really do not see, we think it's valid. Price increases are valid. I met with Mayor Gale and discussed it and tried to explain what's going on. And the issue is the contractor can't, without an approved change order, they're working at risk if they order materials at these increased prices. And so we are trying to get to a point that we can actually authorize them to say go for it and order the materials quickly. So there's a summary that breaks down the individual items that had an increase. Not every bid item increased, but this results in about a 7.5% increase from their bid price. And so we're recommending moving forward so we can get the materials ordered.
So what happens if there's another increase or they can't get the product?
Well,
Firm on this number?
What?
And there's not any profits in this, strictly cost of materials.
That is what they have told us. That is correct. And
Verified that? I know
yes.
KSA did their job, due diligence. Right?
Yeah,
Their recommendation to you and to our legal is that we should move forward with.
Yes, and to explain the issue on material increases, once they issue an order, that will lock in the prices, but they can't, unless they do it at risk. They can't issue an order without an approved, to order the materials without an approved change order, and they cannot, the supplier cannot provide, the manufacturer will not give the supplier a schedule on delivery until a PO is issued to them. Like I said, it's kind of a difficult situation because the contractor's trying to determine a schedule to start, and he can't even get a straight answer on
And
when
I think
material's gonna be here.
You got to go back on, also look at it from the citizen's perspective, from the people who are driving 205, 148, and 80 intersection every day. If we take the only other option we have available to us, which is to reject the bids and rebid, we know we're going to get higher prices because that's a 2-month process, right? Then I've got my citizens sitting in that intersection for 2 more months because TxDOT's waiting for us to get out of the way. As soon as we finish our project, TxDOT starts widening that roadway. So the reason that we felt like as staff we were ready to move forward on this thing is we did vet it. It does match up with your concerns, Mayor. So it's a financially good price for the pipe at this time, and not moving forward just puts us in a delay position that I think is going to greatly increase cost. Everything we're seeing right now is going up, and that's the reason we brought this forward to you quickly.
I guess what I want, my question would be, once we act on it tonight, then tomorrow they'll be contacted and they'll be able to put that PO in place?
That's
Right.
correct.
Are they gonna be waiting for us to sign something and get it to them, or they're gonna be, with the action tonight, Mary Gill would suffice for them?
It should.
Okay,
Yes.
all right.
We
No,
could-
I agree with you. I don't wanna delay it any longer because delaying it is gonna increase that number even more. I hate that we're in this position, but as long as we're not paying profit on the, increase, then, preferably, I would have liked to seen them order the product when we reviewed this the first time, right? Did we not authorize them at 1.5, and then they didn't order the product? We weren't ready for it, or how?
I don't know exactly, what I believe occurred is they started getting him, they had discussions with the supplier immediately. And by the time the contract was awarded, then they were already seeing increases. And then they were trying to vet through their supplier and manufacturer
better
what exactly these increases were gonna be.
It is what it is. We
Well,
need to act. I agree with you.
I'm
Okay, go ahead,
concerned
Steve.
this won't be the last time you see this
For this project?
for other
for other
projects that we have coming up. The part of the problem here is in borrowing money through the Texas Water Development Board, which we've done. There is an artificial delay on their part before we can turn the contractor loose to do the work. There are a lot of paperwork and a lot of hoops to jump through, and everybody worked diligently on doing it, but that took over 90 days on this project to do, and part of it during that time period, things went up. And so, that is what it is. It wasn't, they're not waiting on the city of Terrell because we can move fast.
Right.
It's the Water Development Board that really built in an artificial delay in this. It was part of the problem in this happening. And, unfortunately, we have no recourse in that. So we gotta, if we rebid it, we'll pay more than the added cost plus the initial bid.
I agree. It is what it is, and we need to act, but I hope that moving forward, knowing what we know, we get all of that other, any materials that we may need on future projects ordered as quickly as we possibly can.
Okay, here's my question for legal. We bid it to Gomez. Whether Gomez ordered it that day or waited 4 months to order it, how is that now our problem? We awarded a contract on a certain dollar value. What happens if we reject the change order?
If we reject the change order, they won't sign the contract with us because they're past the period of time that they would be legally obligated to honor their pricing. That was the point of Steve's conversation, is typically we would get it, we would say, okay, we need you to hold when we issue a bid, we're typically saying we want you to hold your bid for a period of time. in this particular case, the Texas Water Development Board delay extended us past what would be typical for holding your number in a bid. And when you compare that to what's going on with the national economy and inflation in the national economy, you know, we felt like this was a valid step for us.
Your only recourse from the way contracting is typically set up, and is in this case, is they're required to put down a bid bond. If they don't honor their bid, then we can call in the bid bond, which is 5%. So you're talking about the difference between 5% and 7.5% of the total bid cost is what we're talking about here. It won't pay for the increase, but if we rebid it, it'll be a lot more than 7.5%.
We'll come out losing on that deal.
Do we have a way to better protect us in the future against this?
I would say with
No,
today's market and with the way things are going, it's not just the city of Terrell that's having these issues. It's county and other municipalities. I don't know when that's going to
Yeah,
be.
I'm going to tell you, it's part of the hard part about being in an inflationary climate also, because it means that all of our contractors are going to be adding something to the contract, guessing to protect themselves. And that's a frustrating thing for us to see, right? That's the problem with inflation. So we'll just fight through it as much as we can, and we'll try to keep cost as low as we possibly can. If we have to retool something or take something out of a project or reject an alternate element, then there may be times where we do that coming forward.
So, all right, thank you, Ken.
I have a question.
yeah.
Where's the extra money coming from? Are we just gonna borrow more, extra 115,000?
The bids that came in actually were a little bit lower than the funding structure set up in the Water Development Board for this as a whole. And so we actually have funds available in the Clean Water and Drinking Water state revolving funds already programmed in. So we're covered in that sense.
Well, this change order is not to exceed 115,628.22. Yes,
Sir,
for this,
hope so.
we hope.
Hope they don't come back, so.
You know what? It's bad news for us, but unfortunately, from time to time, we receive that, but we still have to act as a municipality and get these projects done. We owe it to our citizens to improve and be ready when TxDOT's ready, so.
And there's nothing we can do on our end to expedite it, to go ahead and get it done, other than just doing this change order and hoping that'll be sufficient.
We believe this is the best approach. I mean, there's a lot of times there's contractual, language that says we can, if the contractor thinks he's owed more money, we can tell him, tough, go to work, but he hasn't even started, and he's being upfront. And we think this is the best approach to handle this in this case.
I feel a little bit better that KSA was the one who kind of mediated everything and made sure that those numbers were correct, right? We've got a really good relationship with those guys. They've done good work for us.
Mr. Burns expressed concern about this at the time of the bid, because, like I said, for months we've been seeing this.
Have we as a city used Gomez Brothers before?
We have not. Mike Burns, when he called the references, every reference said, and these guys do great work, they communicate good, we'd use them again, and they've done this type of work, so this is their bread and butter, and we have had no.
But it seemed like the next closest bid was quite a bit higher, wasn't it?
It was about that 100,000. I don't know the exact number, but it was right around that, this mark. And so, and again, going back to the fact that the bids came in a little bit under the estimate, this is basically taking it to the estimate to begin with. And so we feel pretty comfortable as a whole.
All right, thank you.
Okay.
All right, we need a motion on 8.4. I guess that's a not to exceed on the change order for Gomez Brothers Construction, Inc. Is there a motion?
Hey, Mayor,
Yes?
what was that not to exceed?
115,628.22. I think I've got a motion on the floor with Mayor Ronnie Velasquez. Is that correct? Oh, Grady,
Fantastic.
go ahead. Go ahead.
Yes, Mayor, may I make a motion to approve the Gomez Brothers for an amount that not to exceed $150,628.22.
And that's a change order number one. We have a,
Change all.
yeah,
Wait, I'm sorry, Mayor.
okay. We have a motion from Grady Simpson, District 2, to approve the change order number one in an amount not to exceed 115,000. Yes.
And that would be from Mr. Sims, authorizing.
115,628.22, and for Mr. Sims to execute that change order. So there's the motion from Grady Simpson, District 2. Is there a second? Is there a second? Mayor second. Okay. Have a second from Mayor Ronnie Velasquez, Deputy Mayor Pro Tem, District 3. Is there any further discussion?
Comment.
Comment?
I am disappointed in the Gomez brothers for not being able to read the market more appropriately. I work in the purchasing profession every day, and I hold all of my vendors to their prices when they're set. So I'm just saying, I disagree with the way they're doing business. I understand our need to move forward. I'm just telling you, they didn't read the current situation correctly if we're here. So that's it. It's just a statement.
No, duly noted. So is there any further discussion?
Mayor, I want the project to move forward. I also feel like I could be wrong, but I feel like Gomez Brothers, maybe they had a staff member or something that dropped the ball, or as Councilman Royce indicated, they didn't read the market right. I would also caution us, moving forward, working with them in other projects. I mean, it certainly is a red flag for me. What I'm hearing is that if we rebid this project, it will be higher because the prices are higher. And the second contractor that we looked at, that was the second highest. I mean, they're right along the same price range, but if we go back to rebid it, it's still going to be higher, is what I'm understanding. So I'm not,
I'm hearing,
happy with Gomez Brothers, but I want the project to move.
I'm hearing council's comments. I'm hearing your heartburn, but I'm also hearing from staff that it's not just Gomez Brothers Construction, Inc. who's having these difficulties. It's other vendors. So they've kind of given us an indication that we may see this again, and it's not going to be from Gomez Brothers Construction. It may be from someone else. So just a little bit of caution there. Again, what helps me a little bit is that KSA was part of the reviewing process and recommended to the city as to what action the city should take. That's my
I
comment.
hate the overall message of you can bid a project and then submit a change order before you've started the project.
Well, again, it's not for work done, it's for materials, something that's not in there. I hear what you're saying, and I agree with you to some extent, but because of the inflation problems that we're facing, I understand it. So we have a motion from Grady Simpson, District 2. We have a second from Mayor Ronnie Velasquez, Deputy Mayor Pro Tem, District 3. We've had our discussion. All those in favor, let it be known by stating aye.
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 Any opposed?
Hey,
Motion carries. Our next item on the agenda is 5.8, discuss and consider resolution number 1077, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Terrell, Texas, authorizing selection of a professional service provider for a recreational trails grant funded through the Texas Parks and Wildlife Department, and authorizing the city manager to negotiate and execute the agreement for administrative professional services for the Texas Parks and Wildlife Department grant. Mr. Caldwell.
Mr. Mayor, Council, just to share a little highlight on the project that we're focusing on, the area we're focusing on is Kings Creek. If you recall, the park master plan identified a potential opportunity to pursue a grant opportunity, which council gave us the authorization to take a look at that. So we did go out to market and submitted an RFQ out to the clients. We obviously only received one response to our RFQ or RFP, and fortunately, we received a response from a quality professional services, which was exciting news for us, actually. So we as a staff, and we've workshopped this item, we've talked about it for 3 years. So I want to go ahead and prepare you for that, so I don't have to over-elaborate on this particular item. We request proposals, and we're asking council to adopt Resolution 1077, authorizing Public Management, Inc. as the professional service provider for a recreational grant. The grant is a $200,000 grant, and we feel really good about the opportunity there as well. This will be funded through the Texas Parks and Wildlife Department, and we're asking council to authorize the city manager to negotiate and execute the agreement for administrative professional services.
Okay, does anybody have any comments for Mr. Caldwell?
Mayor, I have various comments for Mr. Caldwell. I'll keep it short. As he indicated, we've been working towards the applying for Texas Wildlife and Parks grant and really any grant opportunity for Kings Creek Park. This was supposed to be a grant opportunity that was supposed to be done earlier than this time period that we're looking at doing it. We also had an opportunity to share what we thought the vision would be for Kings Creek Park. We heard from residents on what they would like to see, what they would not like to see, and that's why we're looking at a more of a recreational trails opportunity for the existing community members, have some walking trails for them at the park, keep outsiders from the community, have a safe park there. So I'm excited that we're finally moving forward with authorizing this award for professional services to move forward and trying to get a grant for the park. What I certainly would continue to advocate for is that, should we have this grant opportunity awarded to us, that when we have, a design 1 and design 2 or design 3, for those proposed designs for the park, that we host if possible, an outdoors community meeting with those community members at the park. If it's raining, of course, in a building, but continue to hear their feedback and make sure that we're not missing the mark in building something that a community doesn't want over at Kings Creek Park. I will make another note, and this is more of a side note related to this project. When looking at building the design of the project, there is a home address of 411 Kings Creek Drive that is right next to the park, where water runs through and it's eroding the side of the boundary line between the park and the home. So I'd love for us to be able to, review that, before moving forward with, in conjunction with moving forward with this project. It may be something that, we need to do on as far as the regular servicing that we do to this area, and then also make sure that it's considered as, park maintenance and design for the future park. Weight of the park.
Thank you, Councilwoman.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Is this one not to exceed, what are we doing?
There is a work authorization in your packet. I believe it's in the contract documents, page 10.
Yes.
A $5,500 authorization, a dollar amount. And keep in mind, obviously, this is one of those scenarios where we need to allow the city manager the opportunity to negotiate, because there could be some unforeseen circumstances that may increase or decrease that cost.
Yeah, and Mayor and Council, let me just say, the reason we have Resolution 1077 written up is that that's a format that Texas Parks and Wildlife wants us to pass. So we're doing documentation their way in order to enhance our eligibility for the grant. So it's just a simple pass Resolution 1077. Don't, if you mention the dollar amount, you're
Right,
gonna throw,
okay.
you're gonna throw Texas Parks and Wildlife off.
Got it. So let's just do the resolution, 1077, authorizing the city manager to negotiate. Is there anyone else? Hearing none, is there a motion on 8.5?
I move to approve resolution number 1077.
Have a motion from Mayor Ronnie Velasquez, Deputy Mayor Pro Tem District 3. Is there a second?
I second.
Have a second from Grady Simpson, District 2. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, let it be known by stating aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Item number 8.6 is to discuss and consider resolution number 1080, resolution of the City Council of the City of Terrell, Texas, approving the development agreement between the City of Terrell, Texas, and DFW 7036 LLC for the Hunters Ridge Partnership for the construction of an executive estate development on approximately 50 acres of land in the in the City of Terrell, authorizing the city manager or his designee to negotiate and the mayor to execute the development agreement between the City of Terrell and DFW 7036 LLC for the Hunters Ridge Partnership and establish an effective date.
So, Mayor and Council, this is the project we talked about last week, and we've talked about in executive session off and on over the last year. It is a project that moved through the process with zoning a while back. So it is an executive estate location. They're trying to do 51 houses on 50 acres. As I explained last time, the reason for the development agreement was that we had a fairly complicated issue to settle up related to on-site septic versus doing a typical sewer system. They're going to purchase, or they have wanted to move forward under the idea that they would develop these as 3/4 acre lots. And we needed to know in very specific language, are we going to do septic? If they move forward quickly, which they'd like to do, then they would be doing these as on-site septic. And if they move slowly, then there's a trigger in there where we would convert this project to be a sewer line project. So again, for reference, it's at the corner of County Road 304 and 305. We had some discussion last time around about some of the standards embedded in the agreement. I did talk to the developer about it. They're very much along the lines of preventing risk in their project. So they really wanted to include the language related to garages as it was already stated. And we talked about 2 versus 3. Basically, their philosophy was they're probably going to end up with half of these being garages, but they didn't want to provide any wording in the document to say that they had to deliver that. So what they've got is some language basically that says for all home plans offered for sale on the property, companies agreed they shall provide the potential home buyer with a floor plan upgrade option for a 3-car garage. So they're going to have a set of floor plans, they're going to have 2-car garages, and an option for a third, a 3-car garage. They're going to go out there and say, hey, you need that 3-car garage, rah-rah. They're good salespeople. I believe they'll end up selling quite a few of those. And the only plans offered for sale will be those that have a 3-car option. So we felt like that was a good resolution to that topic. I know it's not exactly what we had an inquiry about. We did do an increase on some of the homes. There's 51 total home sites out there. 19 of them, we are increasing the minimum square footage up to 2,600 square feet. And so that's basically how that topic came out. I'm going to recommend it for us to move forward on. We did connect it, thanks to Mary Gale, with an authorization resolution. So if you go over to agenda item page 76, there's your resolution 1080, which allows us to package this up and allow this thing to move forward.
Okay. Any questions? Is there a motion on resolution number 1080?
Mayor, make a motion that we approve resolution 1080.
We have a motion from Grady Simpson, District 2, to approve resolution number 1080. Is there a second?
Second.
Have a second from Mayor Ronnie Velasquez, Deputy Mayor Pro Tem, District 3. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, let it be known by stating aye.
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 Any opposed?
Nay.
Motion carries. Item number 8.7, discuss and consider resolution number 1081, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Terrell, Texas, approving the development agreement between the City of Terrell, Texas and North Francis 240 LLC for the Hillside Partnership for the construction of an executive estate development on approximately 83 acres of land in the City of Terrell, authorizing the city manager or his designee to negotiate and the mayor to execute the development agreement between the City of Terrell and North Francis 240 LLC for the Hillside Partnership and establishing an effective date. Mr. Sims.
So, Mayor and Council, this one's a little bit more complicated, but we did also talk about it several times over the last year. If you recall, October 30th, 2020, we did a agreement with the same company related to the 240 acres that they already own out at the corner of North Francis and County Road 318. Under that project, they wanted to move forward and build that project as it was zoned. They realized as they were working on that project that it would be beneficial for them to acquire an additional 83 acres next to it. And so they've come forward now after sort of negotiating what that could possibly look like and would like to take that, which you guys recently rezoned to be executive estate, and they'd like to put a set of rules on that. I mentioned last time around, they also want to do public improvement districts out here. Those will come later. This is the step of putting the development agreement on, and it refers to how all of this good stuff will get developed. Again, Resolution 1081 is the resolution. To walk you through the development agreement just real quickly, we've got on agenda item page 91, we start on with, well, let me mention this because it did come up last time and make sure I say this correctly. One of the items here is that we are, and I'm going to make sure I read it correctly, the agenda item page 91, the second whereas on that page, okay? So we're talking here about the parties agree that the development agreement does not change or modify any zoning standard or other requirement of the city not expressly addressed in this development agreement. And that is a really important element for us because all we're really doing is adjusting lot sizes. So we're going to have some really good development out there and very little change to anything else. And then we also have the wording in here that they will be paying some adjusted fee schedules. That's over here in company obligations where it shows what they'll be paying for that. It shows a tree survey requirement, which is new for us. We haven't really been doing that, but there are a lot of trees out in this lake area. They are providing all of the easements we need because we are going to be bringing water and sewer across their property. Of course, we're also making a commitment elsewhere in this agreement for them to do the, we're going to be acquiring some off-site drainage for this project and a little bit of off-site roadway connection for some public safety out there. It does allow us to deliver 4 lanes of Whit Ranch from one side of the project to the other, so that's an exciting thing. We're getting awfully close to where Whit Ranch Parkway will connect to 9th Street, but not quite there, so that's a good thing. They end up paying a $5,000 fee per home. Part of that gets returned to them because of the infrastructure requirement necessary out there. Part of that comes to us to go into our impact fee fund. And as I said, I think that the combined site plan kind of speaks for itself. Before we embarked on this series of negotiations, we had one set of numbers associated with this project that was a little bit more heavily weighted to just garden homes. By creating this combined acreage, we get a little bit better balance here and get quite a few additional of the larger estate lot homes. One of the things that we all thought was good about this project last week, and as we've moved through this process, you'll recall, is both the garden home development and the townhome development are configured so that those folks can walk out their front door and go to this new 36-acre city park, be a trail around it for walking around that trail. There's some encore easements in the area. You can walk along those. There'll be some pedestrian amenities put in those. And then if you look at the layout of the executive estate section, it's really the same thing. You've got those estates also being walking distance to the park, and so you've got, you know, two different income ranges there, all able to enjoy the same city park and enjoy all of the same amenities out there. So we thought it was a good overall project, and it allows a total of 654 lots to move forward, 4 of them 2.5 acre lots, 26 of them being 1.5 acre lots, 57 of them being 3/4 acre lots, 59 of them being half acre lots, 468 garden homes, which is less than the original agreement, and then 40 townhomes, which is also, again, less than the original agreement. So they had to do some rejiggering around, and we think we've come to a good solution there. So with that, I'll kind of end my presentation, and again, this is all bounded up in Resolution 1081.
Okay, is there any questions of Mr. Sims on 1081? Comments? Hearing none, is there a motion on 1081, Resolution 1081?
I move to approve resolution 1081 as presented.
We have a motion from Mayor Ronnie Velasquez, Deputy Mayor Pro Tem District 3. Is there a second?
Second.
I have a second from Tim Royce, Mayor Pro Tem District 5. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, let it be known by stating aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion will carry. Item 8.8, discuss and consider resolution number 182, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Terrell, Texas, approving and authorizing the submission of a grant application to Federal Emergency Management Association for the purchase of equipment for the Terrell Fire Department and establishing an effective date. This is our Emergency Management Coordinator, Dustin Connor.
Mayor, Council, this resolution is for us to apply for the FEMA Assistance to Firefighter Grant. We received this grant 5 years ago for some SCBAs, some wellness fitness stuff, and it's just an opportunity for us to apply this time for an apparatus. So we're going to reach out to them and hope to be successful in a grant for a fire engine. So this is a fire engine you guys have seen before in previous conversations. The number is $863,000, so that'll be a completely outfitted apparatus. It falls within the grant guidelines, and we'll apply. The application period is the end of this week, so we're still finalizing the narrative and getting the stuff together, but that way we're ready, since there won't be another council meeting before the deadline is there.
Cool. Are we retiring a engine if we,
Yes, the hope is that this will replace the,
We have an older engine, and I bet Dustin was about to tell me the year, which is
it's a 2000.
it's a fabulous 2000. We may have some grant eligibility reasons to keep that vehicle around for a little while, so we're gonna keep hold of that and make a really concentrated decision on it. If we sell it, we'll sell it, but it may help us when we build fire station number 3 to have that vehicle in stock. So I'm not quite ready to let go of it yet, Dustin. I know you want to, but I'm not quite ready to let go of it.
okay. Any comments?
Is this grant, is it one that they award in whole, or could they parse it down?
Typically, it's done in whole. They have the ability to parse it down, but the guideline for the apparatus portion of this grant program, there shouldn't be any reason for them to do that.
Okay, and then I should just say, hey, fire administration and administration, thank you for bringing the grant forward. Right, I think this is something that maybe I've said once or twice, so, and I think council was kind of supportive of it, so we'll just see what we get.
All right.
So anytime we have Connor up here, we can expect to have COVID data or grant opportunities coming forward. So to make sure I understand this correctly, the cost would be for 800, well, the award could be for up to $863,000. Regardless of the award money, we are responsible for 10% of the total cost of that. And the fire engine is the regular, the largest fire engine that we have on stock that we are applying for.
It is.
All right, is there a motion on, resolution number 1082?
I move to approve.
Mayor, make a motion that, go ahead, Councilwoman, I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Grady.
You had it, Grady.
Mayor, I make a motion that we approve resolution 1081.
We have a motion from Grady Simpson, District 2. Is there a second? Did you, was that resolution number 1082? Is that what you said, Grady?
Correction, Mayor, correction.
You need resolution number 1082. Would you like to redo your motion?
Yes, Mayor, correction. Mayor, I make a motion that we approve resolution number 1082.
Have a motion from Grady Simpson, District 2. Is there a second?
Second.
Have a second from Mayor Ronnie Velazquez, Deputy Mayor Pro Tem, District 3. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, let it be known by stating aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion will carry. Our next item on the agenda, we're going to adjourn into executive session in accordance with Section 551 of the Texas Government Code to discuss with our attorney. And if I could just have the council in the chambers, please. And
8:25, yeah.
Hold on. See?
8:07.
That's what they wanted to do.
Yeah, I just know people move. I know people that moved during that time.
Well, it wasn't that.
Rick, you're live in
Just a
5
preference.
seconds.
He didn't want to. I don't think it was that they weren't doing it.
Are we ready? We are going to reconvene into regular session and consider any action, if any, discussed in executive session. Is there a motion?
Mayor, I'd like to authorize the mayor to write a letter of accommodation to the city manager, and we would like to authorize the mayor to execute a bonus to the city manager of the city of Terrell for an excellent job and good service to the community and council of the city of Terrell.
We have a motion from Tim Royce, Mayor Pro Tem District 5. Is there a second?
I second.
Have a second from Grady Simpson, District 2. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, let it be known by stating aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carried. We are adjourned.